And welcome to Today in LA. My name is Mike Amos, and of course, we're here on South Brunny Street, our studios, and Steve Camp's with us, and Mike Amos will be coming in shortly. And of course, it is a Tuesday as we get ready for homecoming at Troy University, and of course, the big Appreciation Day parade scheduled for 10 o'clock this Saturday morning, and of course, it's usually considered one of the grand days in Troy each year with the Troy University Appreciation Day parade. A 10 o'clock start from the square. Of course, a lot of folks are getting ready for it. I go back all the way to 68 years, and I think I've missed one, and that was because there was a bad storm in Troy that time. But 68 years, I personally been at either participating in or actually attending the parade, and it's always been a gala event, and I hope everybody looking forward to it. In fact, the uh, Appreciation Day is sort of the day that Trojans come back. A lot of former Trojans and that grew up here come back to town because it's such a grand event, and it's been going on for 68 years, and most every kid around or grown up around has had something to do with the parade over the 68 years that it's been going on. And of course, we're excited about bringing it to you live on Troy Cable. And of course, if you can't make it, we'll be doing it live from downtown Troy. Hopefully, it's a good, crisp morning like it is today, and we can look forward to a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Troy University, the Trojans are red hot right now, winners of three in a row, and they've got Texas State coming in here, who just is coming off of a walloping the team they played last week, and it didn't get it, huh? Yeah, that's right. And it's going to be a real good night, good weekend, and all you football lovers. It's also what they call the third week in in October, when the University of Alabama does battle with the Tennessee Volunteers, and that is going to be a good one from Neyland Stadium, Shields Watkins Field in Knoxville, Tennessee, and Alabama on national TV again on prime time CBS. Game starts at 2:30 this Saturday from Neyland Stadium, and of course, a lot of people and a lot of people out there talking about, is this the weekend that Alabama gets beat? And a lot of people think Tennessee will win the football game. I don't see it. In fact, the more people that are going out saying that Tennessee's going to win the football game, in most cases, that's when Alabama plays their best football. So it's going to be a good one. Now Auburn, I've got them with an open date. I could be wrong. I need to find out who Auburn's playing this weekend, and we're we're excited about the weekend, and of course, Ole Miss at Ole Miss in Auburn. Oh boy, the Ole Miss Rebels and the Auburn Tigers. Auburn comes in there, sort of, on hard times right now. But let me tell you this: they go into Ole Miss and beat them, they can turn all of this around. So it doesn't take long to straighten out some situations if you can win. Nobody gives Auburn a chance against Ole Miss, and sometimes that's when Auburn plays their best football. But right now, things are not looking very good, and we'll talk about both Alabama and Auburn and Troy as we get ready for a great football weekend.
Charles Henderson plays Headland in Headland.
Yeah, Charles Henderson's got a big area game with Headland. They play the game in Headland, so that should be a tough one for Charles Henderson, even though they are just red hot right now and are an outstanding football team. We hope to have Coach Hambry on our show. Coach Hambry is in the building, and we'll bring you back in just a moment, Coach. And of course, we're always pleased to talk Charles Henderson football with Coach Hamrick, and we'll be back with more of today in LA with Coach.
Our wide selection of pre-owned vehicles looks so good, you'll think they're new.
So take the short drive to Bill Jackson Ford in Troy, where you too can experience the Jackson satisfaction.
Bill Jackson Ford, Troy, Alabama.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
These teenage years can be tricky to navigate, especially when it comes to teaching my son about managing money. I'm thankful for helpful tools like Sidekick from Max. With Sidekick, requesting and rewarding money is easy. He can earn it by completing chores, making honor roll, or simply making a request from his own app. I love that I can easily monitor his purchases and set limits to help him learn to make smart choices with his spending, even on video games. Sidekick, find it in your Max app.
In the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle? We've got what you're looking for.
So come see us at Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Troy, and you too can experience the Jackson satisfaction.
Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
This weekend. Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, and as we do each week, Coach Quinn Hambright is the Charles Henderson High School head football coach, and Coach, a huge win over Eufaula.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was a big one. You know, I think the kids, through all the adversity that we faced last week, they played their tails off. That was probably the best overall game they've played since I've been the head coach here. So, you know, shout out to the preparation for my coaches and the kids being locked in all week.
Steve, let's get the coach a good hot cup of coffee this morning. You want a cup?
Sure.
Yeah, and of course, Coach comes in here every morning coming off of a big win. Ladies and gentlemen, we've just been given some information that there's been a wreck. There's been a wreck at the intersection of Highway 231 and 82. I used to call it the Union Springs Junction. There's been a bad wreck there. Evidently, it had traffic blocked, completely blocked toward the road is closed at that intersection, and that would be the intersection again of the Union Springs Junction, that BP station.
Yep, right there.
And do you come the back road to cut across that way sometimes when you come from?
Yeah, if I'm coming from Montgomery, I just come straight down Troy Highway onto 231.
Yeah.
But, this morning I actually came from Montgomery. Usually I'm here.
Yeah.
And I saw the 18-wheeler in the median, and it was completely burned.
Oh God.
Yeah, so I just hope and pray that everybody's.
Oh
safe
yeah, me
and
too.
secure.
Thank you so much.
So,
The coach has a big hot cup of coffee if you like coffee.
I need it.
Thank you so much, Steve. Ladies and gentlemen, so be careful there at the intersection of 82 and 231, the Union Springs Junction. There's been a giant wreck. From what I gather, it's got cars backed up for miles, and so if you go into Montgomery, if there is a way around this traffic, you need to take it. So that's something we wanted to let you know this morning. Coach Quinn Hambright, my friend, is the head football coach at Charles Henderson, and we're talking about a huge 34-7 win over Eufaula. Now, I'm going to tell you, very few people can relate to Charles Henderson football, and here comes Mike coming in. Good morning, you're on Today in L.A.
Hi, morning.
Guess who I got on my show this morning, Mike?
Fourthly.
No. How about a Quinn Hambright?
Congratulations, Coach. That was a nice win. I got to watch a little bit. I like that throwback pass you guys called.
That was a real good call.
Third quarter.
Yeah, man. Actually,
you've been sitting on that one all year.
yeah, we know that Jawan can throw the ball too. He can throw it 60 yards flat-footed. So, and we in that particular moment, Jawan came to the sideline, coach. Let's run uppercut. I'm going to throw the ball to.
You mean he
Stephon.
called it?
Yeah, Coach Austin, myself, we can't take credit for that. That was all Jawan boy.
You serious?
Yeah, because we practice it, of course.
Yeah.
And, he's like, Coach, everybody's gonna come down. They're gonna come straight screaming down because I'm me. And
Yeah.
he said, I'm gonna throw it to Stephon. It's gonna be a touchdown. And me and Coach Austin looked at each other and we was like, "You're right. Let's go. Let's run it." And so we can't take credit for that one. Jawan just, he threw an excellent ball right in the breadbasket.
Well, Coach, like I said before, I've seen a lot of Charles Henderson High School football games. I don't know if there's ever been a bigger win over a quality opponent in Charles Henderson High School history.
Yeah,
I'm telling you that was a great victory over a always great Eufaula team.
Yeah, Eufaula is always one of the best teams in the state, whatever region or they're in. So we knew we were going to have to fight. Went up until Eufaula, and then we kind of figured that the Eufaula game would be the number one spot in the region. We faced a lot of adversity last week. We're talking about flu bug. We're talking about the stomach bug. Friday was the very first day that our entire O-line was together for practice. So we had a few walkthroughs to try to get them cohesive group. And Zamir Caffey had the job of the game. He had to follow number 9 all over the field. He's the Alabama commit.
Yeah.
And he held his own. He got beat a few times, but he never gave up. And he just played an excellent game.
Well, I tell you, it was a huge game, big crowd. I would say it was close to capacity crowd there. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it was pretty packed. It was pretty packed.
And of course, to go to
So when you're battling the flu bug, what's the best way you can get these guys healthy? You just give them as many fluids as possible, and everybody on antibiotics, or how does that work?
Yeah, everybody got us. It seems like the kids, steroid shot, antibiotics, and a lot of fluids. I was getting phone call after phone call, and I'm like, out of all the weeks of this year, Eufaula week, and but it was really the stomach bug that really hit us bad. It was like a 36-hour stomach bug, to where it ran rapid through the team, and a few cheerleaders, a few volleyball players. Like it went straight through the school.
Yeah.
And
Did many actually miss the game?
No, nobody actually missed the game. The coaches were like, let's just get the horses to the race. Let's just get, we made a lot of them stay at home so that it wouldn't spread, But throughout the week, through all that adversity, the biggest thing last week was, You know, the kids never lost focus. You know, last year, if there was any type of adversity, it was the end of the world. You know, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday was like, okay, next man up. Let's continue to practice. Let's continue to play football, and you know, it showed the maturity and leadership of the team.
Well, I tell you what, it was a great, great win, and we're going to give you some information on the team and exactly on how they did it. Coach, you know, Eufaula, of course, is coached by you know, former Troy All-American and his first year as a head football coach. This had to be a tough loss for him. What did he have to say after the game?
He told me good game, you know, and you know, of course, your emotions at that time, you know, the good sportsmanship by him, you know, because I know that he was just like me, expecting to win, and Eufaula is a great team, and they have all the pieces to win. And go deep in the playoffs. Yeah. From the O-line to the quarterback.
And there's a chance you might play them again, you know?
Yeah, there is a chance. They're at the top of the bracket, so if we play them again, it'll be in the fourth round, the semifinals before the state championship.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
Well, and of course we look.
So what does the area look like? Are you the area champs?
Yeah. We're number one. Eufaula's number two. More than likely, Carroll's going to be number three, and Headland would be number four, pending. In order for Headland to get the 3 spot, we'd have to lose against them, and they'll have to, and Carroll would have to lose against Greenfield. Yeah. Other than that, our particular region is pretty much set, and we match up with Mobile.
Yeah, that's a tough first round if you have to go to Mobile in the playoffs. So that's you know,
first round you'd have to travel. You think?
Oh no, we'll be at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be at home. Yeah, we'll be at home. It'll be, you know, it's looking like Williamson, Viger, or BC Rain. Yeah. One of those three.
And of course, we still got some football left to play, and of course.
Coach, I was telling Dad yesterday, you don't have an off week until the last weekend of the regular season. I guess you're off.
Yes, sir.
So you wanted to just play straight through?
Yeah, I did. I really wanted. I don't want to play. I didn't want to play 11 games going into the playoffs. You know, even if it was a jamboree, like that's why I kind of wanted the Pike County game to count, so we can have those 10-game season. But my biggest thing is being healthy going into the playoffs, and also being able to travel to whoever we're going to that last weekend. In which, you know, a lot of those Mobile teams, they don't have a game that week, so it didn't fall the way I wanted it to fall, but at the end of the day, you know, that gives us time to rest. We're going to have a full week of practice like we usually do. So the bye week, the only thing about that week is we don't have a game Friday.
Yeah. You know, so we go all the way through. We don't have an off day.
Yeah, we have one the last week.
Well, Coach, that's the best thing you can ask for is the last week. You know, you can sit back and watch the other teams play, you know. So that sounds like a pretty good deal. And now you've got Headland this weekend, and of course, I want to talk about that. But before I talk about that, let's talk about the Charles Henderson Eufaula victory, and of course one of the great victories in Trojan history, right there. When you go to Eufaula, Alabama, at Tiger Stadium, and it was a packed crowd and a lot of hee-hawing back and forth, and you know, who's got the best team in the region? Well, there's no question about it. Charles Henderson, they went ahead and finished their Eufaula off, winning 34-7, and like the newspaper said, manhandling of Eufaula in their own Tiger Stadium is what the paper said.
Yeah, we
So did you score a defensive touchdown? I didn't get to watch much of the game. I saw y'all were up 20-7 at the half.
Yeah, we did. We got a pick six on the screenplay.
It was a great, and that kid, I haven't heard talk about him this year, but that was he made 2 big plays, made a big tackle later on.
Yeah, Quay Scott is he's a great athlete. You know, he was here some years back, his 9th grade year. But he was actually here from elementary school till his 8th grade year.
How did we get him to come back, Coach?
Well, he just showed up on the door on the front porch. I don't know. But he moved with his mom
Yeah.
and then moved back down here with his grandma. And you know, when I saw him, I was happy. I was like, look, man,
he's a great athlete.
yeah, he's a really good athlete. He's a really good athlete. He made some big plays that kind of solidified their win.
You know, okay, and we were looking at.
Saw where Parker and Davenport got offers from Faulkner.
Yeah, they did.
Good.
Yeah, they did. Him and Connor Jones as well, and Quay Scott.
How's that work in Mission Preschool though? They don't give scholarships, do they?
Well,
maybe give you a little bit of books or something.
Well, they're NAI. They're actually NAI.
So they can give scholarships.
Yeah, so they can give monies out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
and they can build a program if they recruit Charles Henderson like that.
Yeah.
The Tigers that you follow were ranked number 9 in the state going into the game, and what I cannot understand, Coach, we were not even ranked. Is that right?
Yeah, we're not.
What are these people doing up there?
I don't know, man. I like to be the underdogs. You know,
Yeah.
that type of stuff is like, you know, when you have that target on your back, everybody comes for you, and I don't mind it. You know, I embrace it.
I don't
The kids
either,
embrace
yeah.
it. You know, but, you know, I think us being under the radar all year helped us as well.
And it says here the virus bug made its rounds through Charles Henderson's roster at a rampant pace in the last 2 weeks, adding more pressure to what was clearly the biggest game in 2022. In his second year as head football coach, Quinn Hambright called all the players and coaches to not lose sight of Friday's game, and well, there's no question about that. They didn't lose sight. Charles Henderson scored on the second possession of the game when junior quarterback Parker Adams hit junior receiver Jawan Boyd for a 4-yard touchdown pass. Nick Pearson added the extra point, and Charles Henderson led 7-0 with 6:02 remaining in the first quarter. So, Coach, you got a good start on this bunch, and getting on the board first. Quay Scott put Charles Henderson up 14-0. He stepped in front of a Copeland Cotton. What a great name, Mike, for a quarterback, Copeland Cotton. And he was all that good, wasn't he, Coach?
Yeah, he was. He is.
And Cotton, and he raced 44 yards untouched for the touchdown. So, Coach, right off the bat, you're up 14-0. You're playing in a hostile environment. What did you feel at that time?
You know, at that time, I was telling Quay, you know, when they line up a certain way, you know, I'm telling Quay, you know, they're about to throw the screen. I said they're about to throw the screen, and Quay looked at me, gave me the thumbs up. You know, they threw the screen right to him, and he picked it off, and you're not going to catch Quay Scott. You know, he plays linebacker, but the kid runs like a wide receiver. Yeah. He is fast.
So you know, he could help you on the offensive side if you ever needed him.
Definitely. He can play running back.
Well, you follow punted.
Coach, how many guys do you have that play both ways? Do you have anybody?
Jawan Boyd plays both ways. Zamir Caffey usually plays both ways. Stephon Mosley and Khalil Carson. I think those are the only few ones that play.
So when you go goal line, do you bring some of your big offensive linemen in on goal line?
I do. Benton Dunn was one of them that we brought in this week. You know, he was under the tent. There was a play during the game where both teams thought it was 4th and inches, and but because of the change was on our sideline, we knew that it was a first down. Well, Eufaula didn't know that, so they brought their goal line package in the middle of the field, and Benton was under the tent getting coached up, you know, by the offense, and we call elephant, which is our big man package. Benton
Elephant, that's a good name for it, Coach.
And we
elephant.
Yep. And Benton sprints from under the tent, runs on the field late. All right. They snap the ball. Benton gets down, dives at the O-line's legs, makes the play in the backfield. So he literally ran about 40 yards on the field to make the play.
That's Ben Dunn's son.
Yeah.
I know it, man.
4 years older than me.
Carol Dunn was my classmate.
Is he one of the triplets?
He is, yes.
Yeah, Eddie, one of the triplets. I didn't realize that. All right, Eufaula punted on the next possession, and it took Adams and the Trojans only one play to get on the board again. A 36-yard touchdown pass from Adams to Stephon Mosley for a 20-0 lead with 9:41 remaining in the first half.
Yeah, so we knew that they were going to try to double Jawan all game or put their best on best all game. And we also knew that Stephon Mosley, which is under the radar, is a really good athlete. So
yeah, he's getting better. Now he had a little slow start, but he's starting to catch the football.
Oh yeah, he deserves every single accolade that he has. He is probably one of the hardest working kids I've ever coached in my life.
Isn't that great to say? That is a great honor right there.
Yeah, he works extremely hard for everything that so we leaving him one-on-one, we knew that he had to win his battles. And he won 90% of them. I think he finished with 176 receiving yards.
Whoa, man, that is great.
Yeah, off 2 touchdowns. So he.
Coach, did it make any difference playing on grass compared to field turf?
The only difference it made is it dirtied our jerseys up a little bit. But other than that, the field was a little damp initially. But for the kids, they adjust to it. They practice on it every day. Yeah. So it's and Eufaula has a beautiful field. Yeah. Like it is. I mean, the landscape
well manicured.
Yeah, it's well manicured. They take
great care
of that field.
It's a class program. It's really a class program. The Tigers got on the board on a 10-yard run by Cotton. The kick by Perez was good, and the score at the half was 20-7. Charles Henderson. Both teams traded blows in the third quarter before Adams connected with Boyd on a screen pass to his right. Boyd ran towards his sideline, then heaved a 56-yard touchdown pass to Mosley for a 27-7 Charles Henderson lead. What a play call. It might go down in one of the best play calls we've had in quite a while.
Yeah, like I said, we can't take credit for that one. That was all Jawan Boyd.
Well, tell the folks again.
Yeah, Jawan, he came to the sideline. He was like, Coach, if you throw me the uppercut, which is a screen outside, he was like, the entire defense.
It's a lateral instead of a pass.
Mm-hmm. He said, everybody's going to come down. Nobody's going to be down the field. Moses is going to be open, and that's exactly what happened. He was running, and Mosley.
Buddy Mosley, yeah.
Nobody was within 20 yards of him.
Yeah.
He was wide open. He could have walked in there.
That's the biggest win at Eufaula since Dad. We called the game in 2014. The state runner-up team. Finished putting 50 on Eufaula.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that
was state runner-up team.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. That was a great Charles Henderson team. This one
they had a guy named Richard McBride and John Johnson though. They had 2 really good players. Austin Ingram was the quarterback. So, Austin Ingram, the great quarterback, and I think Adams.
First
cousin.
Yeah, first cousin. And both of them were great players. I don't know if you ever saw Austin Ingram play. He was a great quarterback. And Adams just is following in his footsteps, no question about it. The final score for Trojans came with 5:35 left in the fourth quarter when freshman running back Terrence Thomas fought his way for a 3-yard touchdown. And wasn't that a big one for that young freshman, ninth grader?
Yeah, Terrence is going to be a special kid. Last year when he was in the 8th grade, he actually qualified for the state championships in track. He was a qualifier.
He's that fast.
Yeah, so he was in 8th grade and he was a state champ qualifier. He's one of the kids that when we lose, Stephon, and when we lose Khalil, we bring up some pretty decent kids. They I think they're going to be ready, and that's why we try to put them in now, so those lights won't be too big for them next year. Because
the middle school undefeated too.
Yeah, they are.
Do they have more games? I know that they played Saturday morning, Coach, and quite a festive occasion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they
it seemed like all the parents and everybody came out. It was a Saturday morning, and who won that game?
They did. The middle school won, and then they had homecoming last week. They played. They actually played the middle school from Eufaula.
Okay, and they beat them
and won that one too. So
yeah, that's great.
So they Coach Burton has them rolling right now. I'm proud of that team.
Well, I tell you, I know you are.
Coach, what are we looking at, like, numbers for Parker Adams and Dwan Boyd? I mean, how many yards has Parker Adams thrown for so far this year?
Parker's top 20 in the state in passing yards. He's top 5 in the state in 5A.
Yeah. You know, and Parker is going to do exactly what is going to be best for his team. You can see team all over him.
Yeah.
Now, and of course, he can hurt you with his arm, and then he hurt you with his legs. He just, and he's only a only a junior, and he's got another year ahead of him. If he can get physical, gain of 15, 20 pounds, and get right physical, I look for him to get some offers. I really do.
Yeah, he's a kid that he can play college football.
Yeah.
You know, if you know, and whatever team that takes that chance on Parker, won't be sorry.
Well,
I'll just say that.
Let me.
So the kid that signed with Alabama, did he impress you, Coach?
He's actually he was pretty good. You know, we had a pretty good game plan for him. We chipped him almost every single play. Nobody really ran at him all year. So you know, at that time we knew that, you know, if we run away from him, he can run it down. But if we run at him, bring an extra guy on, you know, we kind of neutralize him, which, you know, helps us out on the edge. And,
well, again, I thought the offensive line play was again the secret to all to winning the football game. I mean, Coach, if you can name those 5 guys, let me say this: they either stood up, you follow, or they like you said, chipped away at them. You're talking about an angle block. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, usually we just ran right at them.
Yeah.
And, you know, the running back, we'll put the running back on the outside and just, you know, we just chipped them.
But I thought your line was just very physical. In fact, as physical as you follow, and all those great. Let's say that one of the guys is going to Georgia Tech or got commitment from Georgia Tech. One of them Alabama, and the other one Southern Miss.
Yeah. The Southern Miss guy was a linebacker. He played a really good game. The Georgia Tech kid, for the first time this year, they actually put him at D-line. Because I figured they knew that we can run the ball.
That's right.
You know, their game plan was neutralize number 2, you know, stop the run, they win the game.
And they did what you call a good deal on Boyd. I mean, I reckon you would say they covered Boyd double. Did they double team him, or what do they do?
They always had a safety over top to help out. You know, he still got his 1 touchdown. He got a punt return that almost scored, and he had a passing touchdown. So he's the ultimate team player.
Yeah, he is a great player.
He's the ultimate team player.
And of course, I know you're proud of the way your offensive line came off the ball and against a very good team. And of course, I know you're expecting a lot from your offensive line the rest of the season. They will be the key to your how far you're going to go in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And right now they're playing about as good as they can play. Is that right?
Yeah, they are trending upward. And, you know, we haven't plateaued, and that's the good thing about this team. You know, every week we continue to get better. You know, once, and I tell them all the time, you know, you can't get complacent. You can't get tired of winning. You can't get tired of football.
And you can't get tired of playing hard. You know, it's like we talk about on the show all the time. It's a big difference in being big and strong and whether or not you play hard or not. If you play hard, you got a chance to win.
Yeah.
Hard effort. Guys I talk about all the time. I mean, guys, seniors do you even have on this team? I mean, I know you're a heavy junior, sophomore.
Mm-hmm.
How many guys do you even lose?
13.
13 seniors.
You 13. How many of them play?
All of them get some type of playing time. Yeah. Offensively, we'll lose 2 O-linemen, 2 receivers.
Yeah.
Defensively, we'll lose 2 linebackers and a safety. 2 linebackers, a safety in the corner.
Yeah.
But we got some young guys that have played in each of those positions all year. So, of course, we're going to miss those seniors coming up. You know, I want them to have the best year that they can this year. maximize their talents right now. We have some talent that's coming up for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an incredible turnaround, though, Coach. I mean, you got to look at this. I mean, this time last year, had you even won a game?
Right now, no. In this moment, I think we.
I mean, what an unbelievable turnaround.
Yeah, I appreciate
in
it.
1 year.
Yeah, I appreciate it. You know, that's kudos to the coaching staff, man, for believing in the vision and the players for actually buying into the program.
The big thing of all is, especially when you go up against a real good opponent like you, fella, are you going to be balanced? And that's exactly what you did. Now, Frazier, the sophomore, again had a good game too, didn't he?
Yeah, Frazier played well. Zach carried the load mostly this game. I think he had like 76 yards or something like that.
And we're talking about
Zach Coleman, number
Coleman,
4.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, so
now, who, if they got in a foot race, who would win?
Oh, Zach so sure.
So
Antonio is more downhill between the tackles.
Frazier, yeah.
And Zach, he can play downhill, and he should play a little more downhill. But you know, if he gets to the edge, it's hard to catch him. And he's a 215-pound kid,
and he's a senior. He's a senior, is that right?
He's a junior.
A junior, okay.
Yeah, he's a junior.
So you got both your running backs coming back, then, and of course Frazier's a sophomore. Is that right?
Frazier's sophomore. Then when Zach graduates, it'll be really thunder and lightning.
And then of course Boyd comes back as a junior. So
did you ever play Grady on offense? Like at tight end, he's such a big athlete.
Last year we did. We played him a lot at tight end. He actually really doesn't want the ball.
He sure looks like a tight end.
He if we need him to play it, he could play it. But you know, we have Will Templin who's doing an exceptional job.
Yeah. You know, how fast is number 5?
Are you talking about Quay?
No.
Zion Grady.
Yeah, he's number 6.
He has a pretty good speed.
You know, you could actually look at him as a tailback, if short yardage tailback, if you wanted to. I mean, if you had to.
Yeah.
Have you ever even looked at him at that position?
Oh no.
You know, Mike.
Cholo for Troy, the defensive tackle, they put him in at running back against Ole Miss.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. 80-90-pound defensive tackle.
Well, they actually put Yanzi, I think what's his name, Pierre, the Alabama commit at receiver. You know, that's the play that Quay Scott caught for the touchdown, for the pick 6.
You could almost see it coming, couldn't you?
Yeah. When I saw him there, I knew that some was up. So
before we talk about this week's game, Coach, I've got to say this, and you can tell me to shut up if I want to. That was one of the worst officiated football games I have ever seen in my life. When the head linesman, and they said this on TV, called either 8 or 10 offensive holding. I mean, you can call holding every play if you want to. And this guy was going to try to just set a record, I reckon. Can you believe that? What did he have to say to you?
Now I really didn't say much to him.
But you were having all kinds of plays called back, and they were trying to almost turn the tables of the game a little bit.
Yeah, and the thing about that is, they were actually consistent on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
They called them on them. Okay, it's more so on us.
Has this referee called our games before?
I haven't seen them. I haven't seen any.
Okay, that's probably, they call those Phoenix City referees.
They bring those guys in from Georgia.
Yeah, that's right. Phoenix City in Georgia. Yeah.
So they but there were a lot of calls. Of course, as coaches, we look back at the film and in live action we debate those calls. Naturally we're going to do that.
Did you have any of them you had question about? Any calls at all? I might better get off that subject.
So, I mean, as far as the state of Alabama and Alabama High School Athletic Association, they have to have like an official's office that you can send plays back into.
Yes,
so they can review them.
Yeah.
So they can kind of learn from their mistakes. I would hope. Do y'all put together like a package every week and put it on?
We don't do it every week. If there was one game last year. I'm not even going to say the game, but it was a home game, and that could have took us to the playoffs, even with the record that we had, and that I sent off. I mean, I literally had a list of the play number, the play, like every single thing. I had never done that before, but I felt the need to do that. But we, as coaches, they give us the option to scratch referees that we don't want.
Yeah, that's right.
Especially for home games or the playoffs. So even if he does referee a game, it won't be our game.
Well, another thing we've got a problem with, there's a shortage of officials. Can you believe that?
And I think that's an issue too. And don't get me wrong, the guys, everybody's human. They're going to make mistakes. That's just part of it. Even in coaching, I make mistakes during the game. Kids going to make mistakes. But that we as coaches really have to be treat the officials a little bit better. And I say it in the realm of a lot of people don't want to listen to us on the sideline, and the reason why if the shortage, they don't want to deal with it. A lot of those referees really don't want to deal with the coaching in their ear the entire time.
But I'll tell you this, I've noticed this, Coach, that you pretty much, if there's going to be any argument, you're going to make it, not your assistants. I mean, you're going to call that shot. Is that right?
Yeah, I just tell them don't talk to the referees to get back. If I want to have a conversation like I did in the game last week, call timeout, I'll walk out there, and have a conversation with the referee. And usually, it's just like you get pulled over. If you act crazy, more than likely you're going to get bad results. So when you go talk to the referee, if you go out there acting crazy, more than likely you probably going to get a call for the rest of the game. So
you're right.
You have to learn how to communicate with them so they can understand your point of view. And then and a lot of times, Coach, I missed it. You're right, Coach.
Oh, well, that's something you don't hear how much, though. Is official, saying they made the bad call.
And usually I'll say, okay, and they'll explain the rule to me, like, well, Coach, this is what happened, this is what I saw. And I have to be understanding about that too.
Our show is brought to you by
a situation there, like in state championship games, when these games are so important, that they'll ever have like instant replay that they can go to and change the call?
I think the last few years they actually have. And I'm not sure if they're continuing to do it, but there's a system to where, if you have the right, of course, Troy University does, you can challenge plays, but there's also an amount of money that, you have to pay for that system to be installed at the school. So last 2 years, I think high school athletics, there was a trial run. I'm not sure if they're still doing it or not. But they give you the red flag. And I think in the state championship games, you get one challenge.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, of course, our game this week is against Headland, a real good team, but they were beaten soundly by Carroll of Ozark this weekend. Tell us about this Headland team.
Headland, they're trending the right way. They're going to be in the playoffs. I don't know when the last time they were in the playoffs, but they fought their way, and it's well earned.
They've got some talent, I know that.
Yeah, they do. They have some skilled guys that can play. They have some linemen that can play as well. We can't make the mistake of thinking that we won the game prior to the game.
No way. You're right.
I think that the kids are locked in, and they believe, that, they every game they give themselves a chance, to win. And, I harp on it, man. You don't underestimate any team that you play. No matter the record, because. Rehoboth came out and ran it down our throat.
And then you turn around and saw Rehoboth trounce Greenville.
Yeah,
exactly. We were talking about how good they were. They're pretty darn good.
Yeah,
are they going to be able to make the playoffs though?
Rehoboth not.
Yeah.
No, it'll be Carroll and
Well, I tell you, Carroll's got some weapons, and this whole area is got talent. Now, Headland, we got them, and I just wanted the folks to know how your season will end with Headland and then
Selma.
and Selma. Is that the last two?
Yes, sir.
And then you can start looking at the state playoffs after that. But right now, playing one game at a time. Headland's got talent. They're playing at Headland, and you better watch out.
Yeah.
I'm sure
we know
you've told your staff that. I'm sure.
Yeah, we have to go out and play football, play our game. You know, we really have to give ourselves a chance to win the game by not making the mental mistakes throughout the game. You know, not getting caught up in, you know, what's going on. Just play between the lines. You know, let the coaches handle everything, all the other aspect that comes with it. All they have to do is show up and play football.
I'll tell you something that I've noticed as much about this. This team will run to the football. This team has got great speed on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, they do. And I mean, we are on it. You know, if they don't run to the football during practice, we'll get it out to practice. I mean,
don't blow that whistle until you see a bonnet on him.
Yeah, we need to see at least when that film. When the play stops, you know, we need to see at least 9 people within that frame. You know, that includes DB, that includes D lineman. If the ball's down the field, D lineman, you better run your butt 20, 35 yards down the field to try to make the tackle.
I'm sure a lot of these teams playing will be to try to keep you from being from having a lot of balance. You know, they're gonna take something away from you if they can, like whether the running game or the passing game.
Yeah, they're always gonna, you know, they're gonna game plan to the best of their abilities with whoever we play, you know, and we're gonna do the same thing. We know that, you know, we have, you know, weapons across the board, but we know that people prepare for those weapons.
Yes, sir.
And so we have to be able to adjust as needed throughout the game so that we can give ourselves.
I don't want to put put pressure on Parker, but I've never seen a kid so consistent.
Yeah.
I mean, what I'm saying, he seems like he plays the same game every night, you know, and that's a compliment to him.
Yeah, he's different from last year. You know, last year, his first time in the Alabama High School Athletic Association. So, you know, you could tell he was a little rattled. The game was a little bit fast for him. But throughout the summer, the work that he's put in throughout the year, you know, he's just been so consistent across the board. And he's learning that he has legs that he can run. So, and Parker run, like pull the ball,
run.
He
got quickness,
and, so
he's
embracing it.
Another thing, he seems like he is a real leader, and that's very important.
Yeah, he can, like I said, he's like a Drew Brees type guy. You know, he can rattle the troops. You know, when he gets, you know, riled up and live, you know, you can tell by his energy that he has passion for what he's doing.
Exactly.
And a passionate quarterback, you know, the kids, if your kids see a quarterback, you know, even though we know Parker not going to run over a linebacker, but you see him get hit,
he's quick,
flex, you know, that makes the running back, okay, yes, let's get it. The O-line, let's get it, you know. And
want to mention
he does a really good job.
You know, a lot of our games can be seen live on Troy Cablevision. Do we know anything about this week? I was hoping that they would go to Headland and do the game, but let's find out.
I think ceasefire, man.
What now? Well, it is ceasefire. And Coach,
did you go anywhere this weekend? Did you take any of the kids to Alabama A&M game?
No, I rest this week. Saturday.
What did you think of that play call Jimbo called last play of the game with 3 seconds left? That's a perfect pass and a perfect catch to make that touchdown, isn't it?
Yeah, man. They
I was surprised with that call.
Yeah, you know, coaches got to take chances sometimes, man. And sometimes we look at it, even me watching them, I'm pretty sure people watching me, you're like, what did you see to call that play? But throughout the game, everything's analytical. Everything is, you know, fans are watching the game as fans. Coaches are watching the game as coaches. So even by me being a coach, I'm not looking at it as a coach while I'm watching it. I coach on Friday nights. I'm looking at it as a fan. So, you know, like, oh my God, oh my God.
You know, what I would have told my 5 receivers to go in the end zone and turn around, and I'm going to throw it to whichever one of y'all are open. What I'm saying, I would have.
I think I would have handed it off to number 6. A-Chain's like the fastest kid in America.
Yes, he's blazing.
But and of course, it was Alabama was fortunate. Now they got to go to Tennessee to play the University of Tennessee. Going to be a great game. Yeah. But Coach, again, congratulations, my friend. We appreciate you coming by, and of course, I know you gave your team off yesterday. Is that right? And you get them on the practice field today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We practiced. We had a full practice Sunday, and they deserve. We beat their bodies up pretty bad, so that they deserve that mental time to themselves for yesterday. So
your record now goes to 6-2 or 6-1. 6-1, and of course the only blemish to that record was a 2-point loss to Beauregard, a good Beauregard team.
Yeah, and still undefeated.
Yeah, and that Beauregard team, I know your team would love to play them again.
If everything falls in place, it'll be in the second round,
third
round.
Well,
if everything falls in place, we'll if they can hold off UMS right. I think way to brackets set up.
Yeah, that's right.
But we're set up to meet again if both of us win out.
It'll be a lot of fun to watch.
UMS right coach is going to coach for 70 years, I think. Terry Curtis.
Yeah. They have a program down there.
But they're 4A. They're not 5A though. They're 4A, coach. Isn't that right?
No, they're 5A.
They're 5A now. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we match up with that region. UMS right, Faith Academy, Gulf Shores, Williamson, Biger.
Yeah. Well, again, congratulations on the big victory, a 34-7 victory over Eufaula. Now the next team down the road is Headland, and they play at Headland. So get out and support the Charles Henderson High School Trojans of Troy. We'll be back with more of Today in L.A. after this. Thank you so much.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
So much. Take care.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. I'll see you Monday. Is that all right?
Mm-hmm. You will.
Are you enjoying?
Uh-oh.
Oh.
We offer your favorite brands at the best price. At Piggly Wiggly, we keep it simple. We price our products at cost, then add 10% at checkout. We carry all your favorite name brand foods, and we accept manufacturer coupons. Find us on Facebook and see our weekly specials.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass right in Troy. And of course, remember, nobody beats a Ram deal. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Premier, and of course, the thing that most everybody is looking at is these beautiful, beautiful trucks, Ram trucks on the road today, and we appreciate them as being our prime
Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep. I've lived down here at the beach. They have all these Jeep trucks.
Oh, yeah.
They're really cool. A lot of people drive down on the beach. I've been noticing a lot lately.
Well,
I like those a lot because it's kind of the new trend is kind of going to that kind of model of a Jeep type truck style.
You know, I went out to the rodeo and saw Jason Gregory's little girls compete, and one of them I wasn't able to stay the whole time, but the one that I watched closely was actually won her event. You know, so Jason's got girls that are competing and winning actually in the rodeo, and I didn't see all of it, but I saw a lot of it, and that was a lot of fun watching those girls compete, and they competed very well. In fact, one of them time was 14.8, I want to say, and I think that was the best time in that division or in that group of riders. It was really open. It was an open division, and she competed and actually won that division. So I'm gonna bring those girls on this show before long and let you meet them. They're outstanding athletes, I promise you, at a young age.
Yeah, I listened to Coach John Summerall's press conference yesterday, and he said Jareer Barber actually is not going to be out for the year like we thought.
Oh, I was worried.
He might be back later in the year. Is what he's hoping.
Well, what kind of injury do you have?
He didn't really get into the details of what he had, but looks like Jaden McDonald, the great linebacker, could be out pretty much the rest of the year, and Louis Medina.
Golly, both of them the rest of the year?
Well, they've been out since the App State game.
I tell you,
the guy who's been talking about a lot of those, that T.J. Jackson kid, is playing phenomenal football. He's almost got 6 sacks at tackle defensive end this year, so he's leading the team in sacks. And then he didn't say who the quarterback was going to be, so we don't know if it's going to be Jared Dagey or Gunnar Watson. So guess we'll find out on Sunday.
Mike, did you see most of all the Troy games?
Yeah, I watched a pretty good bit of it.
What is your opinion?
Shut down Frank Gore, you know.
They sure did. They shut him down.
They're great running back, rushed for about 70 yards, but you know, he's the guy that probably will play at the next level like his dad. His dad rushed for 16,000 yards.
That's right. For the San Francisco 49ers, I remember Gore played quite a bit.
But Coach Summerall said that Texas State, which is scary, has the best defensive front they will face all year, and they have a defensive lineman that he said could probably be a second-round pick in the NFL draft.
Golly.
So apparently they just physically manhandled Appalachian State.
Yeah.
Which is surprising to say the least. Texas State, out of all the teams Troy's played, you know, even during the Chip Lindsey years, Troy's really had their number, and you know, Troy's really played well against them. So I would think that trend will continue, but we'll find out. I mean, Vegas definitely thinks it's going to continue. 16-point line.
Oh, gosh.
A lot of points in this game.
That is a lot of points. A lot of points. And but I want to mention, you know, how Troy's depth is, you know, they seem like they substitute quite a bit on defense, and that really helps the cause quite a bit.
Yeah, the new defense coordinator, Shill Woods, has done a great job. And the kicker's done a great job. Brooks Boosh kicked another 48-yard field goal.
Yeah.
It's been really impressive. Apparently he can start kicking off again, too.
Yeah.
So,
well, what do you mean by that? What do you mean that, Mike?
His leg, he had a leg injury going.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
They say he's 100% now, but he's 7 for 8 or 8 for 9 in field goals. Yeah. That's really good.
How did we get him, Mike? Have we had him all along or what?
He was a late pickup, I think last spring. No, not last spring, the spring before that, by Chip Lindsey. Whoever his, I guess, special teams coach was, brought him in from Georgia.
Yeah.
He was a backup kicker in Georgia, and he's done a great job at Troy. Yeah. The punter, Mike Rivers, you know, is a transfer from North Carolina A&T. But Troy, that's one thing. Like, I mean, they lost the safety in this game and the cornerback. And
gosh, I know
the guy made an unbelievable interception. I wish I could remember his name. number 12 in the game
For Troy?
for Troy. And almost
I've got it.
That was the biggest play of the game.
I've got it.
That was after Daggy threw that interception from about the 5-yard line. And Southern Miss was driving at the time, and number 12 picked it off for Troy and almost returned it for a touchdown, and kind of changed the whole game.
Number 12 is Marquise Colvin, a safety, 5'11", 205.
Great interception, a great return.
He's from Ruskin, Florida. I've never heard of it, Ruskin, Florida. But, I love this roster they put out, and it's good information. And Gunnar Watson
A lot of distractions during the homecoming week, though, so I hope that won't
yes,
on Saturday.
and let me tell you, and of course, we got lots still to talk about on this show. And talk about Goshen's great game against Luverne. Boy, that was a super football game. And then Pike County is showing his stuff for those two great running backs they look very good toward the playoffs. But
you watched the pro game last night? I don't understand what's going on in pro football. The Chiefs go up by 7 in the fourth quarter, and they decided to go for 2 instead of kicking an extra point, going up by 8.
Why did they do that?
So then the Raiders come back, score a touchdown. They go for 2 to try to go up by 1 instead of kicking an extra point, trying to go to overtime. I could not figure that out to save my life last night. That was very strange.
What happened? Who won?
The Chiefs held the Raiders on 4th down at the very end, and the Chiefs won by 1.
Oh boy, that is unusual.
Alabama great running back though, Josh Jacobs last night ran for 155 yards against the Chiefs.
Oh man. So,
Jacobs was one of my favorite players at Alabama, so I'm glad to see he's still doing well in the pros.
The running backs, all the running backs from Alabama, and of course we know, name them, Michael, the ones that are still playing.
And the guy that's been playing the longest is Mark Ingram, former Heisman Trophy winner.
He's still playing.
Yeah, and then you got the great Derrick Henry, you got Kenyon Drake, Josh Jacobs, T.J. Yeldon.
Is that amazing? Yeldon's not still playing, is he?
Yeah, I think Yeldon's still on the roster.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And then you got Brian Robinson with the Washington Commanders. Of course, the great Najee Harris with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, gosh. It's amazing, isn't it?
Probably. I guess you could say Alvin Kamara. He played at Alabama.
Yeah.
He finished at Tennessee. He plays for the Saints.
Yeah,
there's probably a couple more I'm forgetting about right now.
Well, what is your feeling about this weekend's big game?
I read an article yesterday that Bryce Young is still a game time decision. I don't know if Alabama's playing their cards and not going to let anybody know until kick.
I bet that's the case.
But from what I hear from all the experts, they say a PCL sprain in your shoulder is basically just a pain tolerance. You know. If you can throw through pain and play through pain, so
is that in this?
I would imagine that he will play. I'd be shocked if he doesn't.
Is the injury to his throwing shoulder or
yeah, but apparently he's had these throughout his career.
Yeah.
And has played with them. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out on Saturday at 2:30. I'll be interested to see if they make a decision before then, but. He said that Milroe, unfortunately, played with a lot of anxiety and nervousness against Texas A&M, and he was not really happy with his overall performance. He thinks he could play a lot better, which I'm sure anybody in the country that watched the game could think that. I mean,
you know what?
3 turnovers, not the kind of performance you would see normally from an Alabama quarterback.
Of course, this is one of the most traditional games in college football is Alabama and Tennessee, and
but it's not really a rivalry anymore. Alabama's won 15 straight, and average victory in this series. But Alabama's won 15 straight. Alabama's average win is 39-13.
Yeah. Oh boy. Mike, of course we got that game, and of course it's going to be a huge game. I hate that it's going to be the same time that Troy is, but. It's going to be
Auburn. Ole Miss will kick at 11.
At 11. What do you think? Do you think Auburn's got a chance?
No, I don't think Auburn. I don't think they've given up on Hartson, but defensively, I think Auburn plays hard. But I think offensively, they just have no.
What happened? What's happened to their
chemistry, no real playmakers. I mean, Payne Bixby.
What's happened to him?
I don't know. I don't know if he's in the doghouse or he's just kind of done with Hartson. Kind of regrets he didn't transfer.
Yeah.
I mean, the Hunter guy made a good play against Georgia.
Yeah.
Scored on a long touchdown, but I don't know. You got to think the Ashford guy. If you look at it, I think the second or third string quarterback at Oregon transfers to Auburn is now the starting quarterback.
He's a good athlete. Yeah.
Yeah. Finley, I guess, is not going to come back. Then Calzada's had surgery.
Yeah.
I mean, Auburn, it's just a matter of time for.
Yeah, I would be interested to find out how many players are in the portal with Auburn.
Well, the issue with a lot of these teams is after you play 4 games, you can't get a red shirt.
Yeah.
So, you had to be on the roster to get that extra COVID
That's
year.
right. Yeah, okay.
So some of these guys won't be able to get that COVID year if they're new players.
Yeah. Mike, tell me about this so-called superstar at Ole Miss that went crazy
Jackson Dart threw for 450 yards.
He did?
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty.
Transfer.
But he threw some bad passes too, a couple of interceptions.
Well, I mean, he's the guy that started against Troy.
Yeah.
Ended up winning the job at Ole Miss. But I mean, I tell you what, a lot of Auburn fans have got to be looking at Kiffin. I don't know if they could get Kiffin to make the jump from Oxford to Auburn, but that's a name I would definitely look at.
Yeah, it would be a good one, wouldn't it?
Ole Miss has exceeded expectations, to say the least. I didn't think they'd beat Kentucky, but
well, who is this? Is a wide receiver. There's a wide receiver at Ole Miss that had a huge game this weekend.
Yeah, Mingo. He's been there for years.
Yeah, but gosh, he went crazy. How many yards did he have?
I don't know. I had to look it up. I know he had a big game.
Yeah.
I watch the SEC final a lot.
Yeah, I watched some.
That kind of gives you the recap of the weekend. What time the Troy game actually got over with pretty early? You're probably able to watch most of the Alabama.
Watched the last quarter. Well, I watched it from the Stadium Club, and
I watched the game on ESPN Plus down here, and I told my wife, I said, I can't believe this. There's 2 minutes left in the half, the first half, and the Alabama game was kicking. So I was able to watch the whole first half of Troy.
That's right, yeah. And how did we look on TV? Did we do it?
I mean, it's not the greatest crew in the world that calls the game. I mean, the guy I think's local, Ben Stansfeld.
Yeah.
Is the color guy.
What, Stanfield from Dothan was the color guy?
Yeah, he's the color guy. He's not bad.
But is he on?
Play guy's not great, but it's all right.
But you mean Stan? I know Ben. I didn't know he is.
Yeah, Ben does the color on every home game on ESPN Plus.
All right. Well, I like Ben, and I'm glad to see him get an opportunity. He's a real personality,
Yeah, he's good.
Who
play guy's not great.
Yeah. Or do they use the same play-by-play guy every time?
Yeah, they use the same crew every time.
Oh, do they? I saw Rick Rhodes.
I would rather Troy maybe have a former player up there calling the game as a color guy, but I don't know. I guess it'll never work that out.
Mike, I was with Rick Rhodes this weekend, and Bobby came back, and Bobby's got a son, Mike, that is a senior is a college prospect.
He hurt his knee or hurt his leg, didn't he? He's out for the year.
I don't know. I don't know about that, but he's a good-looking kid.
You know he's got a son that plays at Sacred Heart.
Who plays this?
Bobby's oldest son plays at Sacred Heart.
Oh, does he? Okay, I didn't know that.
A 1AA school.
Yeah, and but it was
they honored the 87 team.
Yeah, the 87 team, they honored it, and then they brought back several former players. I didn't go down there because I was caught up with some other things. But
Turk and some of them there.
Yeah, but he had a game. Turk had a game, Saturday, so he couldn't be there. He coaches at Huntington.
Were the two great receivers there, Harris and?
No, I didn't see. I didn't see all of them. I didn't see all of them, but it was great to see those that did come back. And yeah, I saw my.
Rick was doing color for Division II games at one time. I don't know if he still does that.
He still is, and I would have thought he would have had a game, but he didn't evidently. But it's good to see him, and he was a great coach. It showed on a highlight film, Mike, of when he called those back-to-back double reverses for a touchdown. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
And he was a great play.
The crowd was 26,000.
Yeah, we had a good crowd. We had another good crowd. We had 27.
That's a pretty good crowd.
Not really. Not anything over. They've had I'd say 500 people probably.
As a football story, you look at Southern Miss's program, and no telling how many times they played Alabama, played Auburn, played Florida State. Of course, they beat Alabama, they beat Auburn, they beat Florida State. I mean, their program is a phenomenal program.
Brett Favre.
I don't think Troy fans appreciate that. We beat Southern Miss now 2 years in a row by double digits.
That's right. And we beat.
That's pretty awesome.
And their biggest fan is Brett Favre, and I would, that this might surprise you, but I've always wondered why Brett Favre didn't go into coaching. I bet he'd be a heck of a coach.
Yeah, he does a radio show on Sears, satellite radio.
Yeah.
A lot of people listen to.
And
he's one of those guys though that I think he probably made enough money. He probably didn't have to want to do anything else.
No, he don't have to do anything else. I'm sure.
I guess he saved his money. I hope.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, Troy. I don't know when we'll start playing UAB again, but Southern Miss is as big a rival to me. I'd rather beat Southern Miss more than South Alabama, really.
Yeah, me too. All you got to do is look back at the history of Southern Miss football. They had another quarterback, Mike, that was a big, tall guy, and he led them to.
Yeah, they had a great quarterback named Reggie Collier.
All right, when Reggie Collier played, I think they beat Alabama and Auburn in the same year. In Southern Miss, yeah. And
it'll be interesting to see what Auburn does here after Ole Miss. They have an off week.
Yeah.
As a board of trustees member, and of course Jimmy Raines is calling the shots there pretty much. I would imagine. Do you let Hartson coach through the year and try to get to a bowl, or do you just go ahead and part ways?
Oh yeah. Well, they still got to pay his contract up too, and
you're seeing now, though, because recruiting, the early signing period is so big in college football, you've almost got to have a guy lined up to come in and get you a recruiting class.
Yeah.
So that changed everything with that December recruiting. That's pretty much when all the guys signed now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But, it remains to be seen. I've got a sneaky. I know this sounds, but I've got a sneaky feeling that Auburn is going to play Ole Miss tough. I don't think it's going to be any kind of runaway. I just got that feeling. Of course,
if Auburn can come up with any kind of offensive plan, against Georgia, they did not look like they had a chance from the get-go. Defensively, they played hard. We got a lot of games this week. I don't know if you realize, but we got a big Sun Belt game tomorrow night, of all things.
All right, tell me about it.
Yeah, so tomorrow we got Louisiana Lafayette at Marshall. This shows what everybody thinks of Lafayette now. Marshall is a 10.5-point favorite. The line started at 7.5.
Oh, boy.
So that game will be tomorrow night at Marshall, which we know is a tough place to play.
Yeah.
It'll be a 6:30 kick on ESPN2. And then Neil Brown has got a huge game at West Virginia on Thursday night. West Virginia will host Baylor. Baylor is a 3.5-point favorite at West Virginia. And then also later you got Temple traveling to Central Florida. Central Florida off a big win over SMU. Central Florida is a 24-point favorite. So those are your two games coming up in college football.
Who are they favored over now?
Temple.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah.
But their only loss is to Louisville, shoot, you look at that loss by Central Florida and wonder how in the world they lost to Louisville. Louisville's getting beat by everybody.
Well, let's look at Troy. Of course, they've won 3 straight, and you know.
Yeah, this is the first time Troy's won 3 straight. I think Coach Summerall said since, I guess, Neil Brown's last year, maybe.
Yeah. Now, how can you get his press conference, Mike?
It's real easy. You just go to TroyTrojans.com, and they'll have yesterday's press conference, the players' press conference.
TroyTrojans.com, is that right?
Yeah.
Now, of course, we're looking for a very tough Texas State team that really made it easy going in that win, Mike.
Yeah, App State, I guess, is not near as good as everybody thought they were.
Yeah.
And now App State's lost to James Madison, who's ranked, and they've lost to App State. And then their other loss was that heartbreaking game to North Carolina.
Yeah.
Well, at the very end of the North Carolina-Miami game yesterday, I was out with Millie. I was taking her to lunch. She didn't have school. And pretty amazing. Matt Brown's got North Carolina at 5-1.
Yeah, that is pretty.
Miami and Cristobal, boy, they're having a rough season.
Yeah, they sure are. They sure are. And looking at Troy's schedule, and of course, you know, right now, and let's look at it as far as making it to a bowl game. Let's just say
this. If you make it to a bowl game, you want to be at 7 wins. 7 wins.
You don't think you can be, but you.
Well, 6 is bowl eligible, but you got to have a better record. I think the Sun Belt Conference has 5 bowl tie-ins.
Yeah, that's right.
So you got to make sure your overall conference record is better.
Yeah.
Than other teams. Because like a few years ago when Troy. If they would have played La Monroe, they would have got 6-6. But La Monroe canceled that game, so Troy never played it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But when Troy lost to Coastal Carolina, they wouldn't have qualified for a bowl game because everybody else's conference record was better.
Yeah, that's right. But right now, looking at Troy's schedule, the rest of the way with this game this weekend, Texas State, and then
this is a huge game this weekend.
All right, the 20th. Who does Troy play on the 20th? South Alabama, don't we?
Well, yeah, Troy plays on a Thursday night.
Yeah, and they get.
So Troy right now is 4-2. If they beat Texas State, they'd be 5-2.
All right.
And then Troy's got to turn around immediately and get ready to play South Alabama on Thursday night.
Yeah, and see that's in fact
I would have normally loved to go to that game, but I can't because it's your granddaughter Millie's birthday.
All right. Well, let's say this: there's 5 days, or actually 4 days. Well, 5 days between Troy and Texas State, and then the next opponent is South Alabama. So they've got only 5 days to get ready for South Alabama.
Yeah, South Alabama looks like they're the best team in the Sun Belt West right now.
And
South Alabama's a field goal away. I mean, a last-second field goal by UCLA from being undefeated. And look how good UCLA is.
Yeah, I know it. You're right. And
so you got to look at this game right here as a must-win to make it to a bowl.
Yeah.
Because if you win this, you get to 5-2. Say you lost to South Alabama, you'd be 5-3. So you'd be 5-3 with 4 to play. You would have to travel to Lafayette, which they're down, but Lafayette.
Yeah, they're Lafayette. Yeah.
Then you got Army at home. You never know what it's like playing a Wishbone team, and that'd be a tough matchup regardless.
Yeah.
At home. Then you got La Monroe at home. They're not that bad. Vic Tony's defense coordinator.
Yeah, that's right.
They've surprised some people. And then you finish on the road at Arkansas State. So if Troy gets to at least 5-2, you got to think they'll win at least 2 more games to get to 7 wins.
Yeah.
7 wins for sure gets Troy to a bowl game.
That would be nice. That would be.
I said before the season, at best, I thought we'd go 6-6, 7-5.
Yeah.
So they've impressed me. I mean, I had us losing to App State, which we should have won. Of course, I had us losing to Ole Miss. But I had us losing to Marshall, And I had us losing to Western Kentucky. So
I don't know.
they're doing a lot better than I thought
Yeah,
they were.
this is the way I look at it. I don't know for sure about whether or not we're better than South Alabama. That's going to be a big game. But the rest of the teams, I feel like we're better than they are, Mike. I really do.
Yeah, this year. I mean, Lafayette, I think at home will still be a really tough game. Traveling to Lafayette, they're going to get better. They got a new coach. Billy Napier took some players with him to Florida, and then they had a lot of guys transfer to LSU. So they lost a lot of guys in the transfer portal. I mean, it could come down to, the South Alabama game for winning the conference, winning the West.
Yeah.
That's how big that game's going to be.
And then that means Troy gets that extra game.
It comes down to probably Coastal Carolina. You'd have to make a trip to Conway. Looks like Coastal probably going to go undefeated. They might get beat by James Madison, but James Madison didn't factor in.
Yeah, that's right. Sure didn't.
In the conference championship, they're making the transition to 1A.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what they do.
But they are really good, no question about it. And
Kurt. The coach of James Madison, I think Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's right.
He used to be the receivers coach under Nick Saban.
Yeah.
And when Nick Saban first started his staff at Alabama in 2007, Cincinnati was on that staff for 2 years. And then he went back to like Indiana something where his dad had won a bunch of national championships. And then he went to Elon. And then after that, he took the job at James Madison, and they've been dominant.
They really have. They sure have. Are they undefeated? They're ranked 25th.
Yeah, they're 5-0 and ranked 25th.
Yeah, so they're going to be a team to reckon with, no question. Now, let me tell you some.
Troy, though, I mean, they've got to get this game this weekend. Jake Spavanoff never had a winning season at Texas State, and he's trying to save his job. And, coming off the App State game, you got to think they got more confidence than ever.
Yeah.
But one thing that Troy has had their number is Texas State. So hopefully that will continue.
Hopefully it will, and that's good coverage. Mike, of course, we've got Auburn and Ole Miss and Alabama and Tennessee and Troy. And
Alabama has got to score touchdowns to beat Tennessee. I mean, that's one thing in this game. I mean, Riker. I mean, I think that was a fluke. I think he'll make field goals if they need him in this game. Alabama's got to score points to beat Tennessee.
Let me throw two names out there. First of all, our numbers. Number 31, and who is that other down lineman that's having such a big year?
Will Anderson and Dallas Turner, number 50.
All right, and who now?
Dallas Turner.
Dallas Turner. Remember those two names, Dallas Turner and
Will Anderson.
Will Anderson.
Will Anderson's supposed to be the first pick in the NFL draft.
All right.
Either him or Bryce Young.
All right, we talked about this yesterday. Those two guys are considered the best two rush ends in the country in college football. All right, Mike. They're gonna eat this guy's lunch. They're gonna eat this Tennessee quarterback's lunch.
The only problem is Alabama struggles against a running quarterback, so Hendon Hooker can really, really run. So it's one of those types of things. It's going to be disciplined. Somebody's going to have to be a spy.
Yeah. And
somebody's going to have the quarterback at all times in this game. And Tennessee's got some really good receivers as well.
Yeah.
Interesting with Tennessee, though, is I feel like defensively they've gotten a lot better this year as well.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people don't realize. Jeremy Pruitt, when he was their coach,
that's where they got the players.
Best recruiters in college football history. So, he brought in some really good defensive players.
Where is Pruitt now, Mike?
He was coaching in the NFL. I don't know if he got on with another NFL roster or not. I think maybe he has a show cause where he can't coach in college for a while.
Yeah.
Because I think Alabama would bring him back as defense coordinator in a heartbeat if they could.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, he's a good coach, and of course he's married to a girl from out here at Banks. So
we like to the East. Bro.
Now, Mike, let me tell you a couple of things.
We need to really though appreciate what Coach Summerall is doing. I mean, I've been talking to a lot of my friends, and I mean he's winning with the same guys Chip Lindsey had.
Yeah.
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 You got to think none of these guys are really really, I mean, they brought in a few transfers, but, what this coaching staff is doing, they really have changed the culture immediately. It's unbelievable.
Well, let me tell you some things that are going on this week. Of course, it's homecoming at Troy, and Troy University Appreciation Day Parade, 10 o'clock from downtown Troy. But something that's going on Thursday night is your basketball.
Basketball madness.
Basketball madness, where you'll meet
5:15 start time. Dunk contest, 3-point shootout, prizes for fans. SGA going to be involved.
Football team, they're going to have a pep rally. They're going to have a big pep rally for football at the same place.
Yeah, I mean, it ought to be great to get the week started. I mean, we need to really support this basketball team. You're talking about a team that got absolutely destroyed by transfers. They had some super great players transfer out.
How about anybody transfer in?
Well, I mean, they had a guy they brought in from, I think, Texas San Antonio, and a guard from Georgia State. Maybe one other transfer they brought in as well. But, Iggy, that great big guy for Troy, he was dominant last year. Went to SMU, and then the great guard, Duke Dean, Bradley of all places.
Bradley?
2 or 3 other guys went to UT Martin. So it's a lot different team than won the 20 games.
Yeah. Well, I sure hope they were able to get on that, what do you call it,
the portal.
The portal. That's going to just dominate basketball, Mike. The portal is.
Yeah, Coach Cross brought in a couple of good freshman players. I just don't know if they'll be ready to play. You can find out about a kid he signed from down here, Rennie Martin, I think. He's a shooting guard, 6'5", played at South Walton for the Seahawks down here.
Yeah.
Kid from Santa Rosa Beach.
Yeah, okay.
More about him.
Well, I know it, and I hope he is a good shooter. We need him.
Probably running into his mom and dad down here once in a while.
Yeah, you probably do. Of course, I want to mention this show is brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass right here in Troy. And great deals going on. Remember the wreck at the Union Springs Junction, Highway 82 and 231 intersections there. And there's been a bad wreck where they've got all kinds of traffic backed up. No telling how far it will be before it's all over with. But they have closed the road there, and you need to be careful. Or if you can make a bypass, where would you make your bypass, Mike? You would have to go back. Gosh, I
don't know. Did you mention before the show died?
What?
I thought.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second, Mike. What, Steve? Highway 94. You could get off and go to Raymer, Alabama. Is that right? Go through Raymer and Sidetrack.
I don't know if you mentioned it before the show. I heard we lost Brule Davis, who was a big part.
No, I hate that. Brule Davis is my friend and a great Trojan.
Brule Davis was 96 years old.
I tell you what, he was a good man, and he was a super military guy. He loved his military, and he was a big Troy fan.
He loved the military, and he loved the Republican Party.
That's right. He loved the Republican Party like very few people did. You're right. No question.
96 years old. He was the guy I talked to a lot over the years at games and events.
No question about it. We hope you've enjoyed today's show, and we appreciate Mike Amos calling in from Grayton Beach. He really does a great job, and we'll be talking to Max Howell on our show tomorrow, and Mike will be back on, and we're going to get ready for a huge college football weekend and another big high school weekend. We'll have some of the high school games. We'll give you all the info we got on all the colleges that have big games this weekend. Hope you enjoyed our show. We'll see you tomorrow bright and early for Today in L.A.
Our wide selection of pre-owned vehicles looks so good, you'll think they're